Guys, I'm delighted to welcome to the podcast my friend Kevin Sorbo. He is he's probably most known for the lead role in Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, which went on to become the world's most watched TV show. He's been in over 90 movies and TV shows. God's Not Dead, which I'm sure many Soul Surfer, Reagan, 2.5 Men, Hawaii Five-0. He is also the director and lead actor in the latest Left Behind movie, which is based on Jerry Jenkins' award-winning books. The movie is called Left Behind, Rise of the Antichrist. And by the way, the website, leftbehindmovie.com. The movie opens January 26th in 1,500 theaters around the country. Debbie and I watched it and really enjoyed it. Kevin, a real pleasure to have you on the podcast. Let's talk about this latest movie, which depicts a scenario called the Rapture. It anticipates, I guess, the aftermath of the Rapture, and It points to, I guess, what the Bible describes as a sort of a tribulation that is to come. All of this, I'm guessing, is coming in part from the book of Revelation, but perhaps also other parts of the Bible. Let me start by talking about the movie, and then we'll zoom into this concept of the Rapture.
Okay. Yeah, they came to me about 7-8 years ago. When I say they, it's called Cloud 10. It's a company out of Toronto that owns all the book rights for the last 35 years. They started with Kirk Cameron. The latest movie was actually 8 years ago already with Nicolas Cage playing the role that I took over in this movie, Rayford Steele. Rayford Steele was the pilot in the book. And it's 6 months after the Rapture now. And his wife was taken. His 10-year-old son were taken. They were all as Christians. So it was about 4 stories in that all come together at the end of the movie. But his journey now is to sort of look for redemption. I mean, this is sort of an action thriller in a way as well. And it deals with what the world would look like after the Rapture happened, after all the Christians get taken away. And you know that people are still denied that it happened, even though people saw it before their very eyes. We'll have the non-believers still out there. But you're also going to have a lot of people like my character and now is trying to go, okay, my wife warned me about this. It did happen. It's real. I want to find out what's going on. And there's an interesting part in there when I go to the church that she always went to. And who would I find in the church but her pastor? He was left behind. And it's not giving really anything away because it's in the trailer for the movie where you gave it, leftbehindmovie.com. People will see the trailer. So it's an interesting road and look at what possibly the world could look like after the Rapture. And that's the beginning of the 7-year tribulation, which the book of Revelation does talk about.
Let's talk about the Rapture. I have in front of me the Bible doesn't use the phrase rapture. That's not in the Bible. However, the Bible is full of the theme that there will be resurrection, not just for Jesus, but for all the believers. In other words, resurrection is something that all of us as Christians can anticipate and look forward to. Now, this is Thessalonians, 1 Thessalonians book 4, and we have this remarkable passage where it says, I'm going to read it here. Sure. For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of an archangel and with the trumpet of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first. Then we who are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And thus we shall always be with the Lord. Therefore comfort one another with these words. I mean, this is a very remarkable image here because it implies that, look, there are people who have died, who are believers. They're going to be taken up into heaven, but they're going to be people on earth who are committed believers who have evidently been anticipating the rapture, and they will somehow be drawn into the clouds. So that's the event. Is this the strongest biblical support for the notion that the rapture is in fact something that is going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think that really hit it sort of right on the nail. And if you read the book of Revelation, I remember reading it for the first time as a 12-year-old. And as my pastor told me back then, he said, read the book of Revelation. That will scare the hell out of you. And as a kid, it scared the hell out of me because it's read like a sci-fi movie. I mean, it's crazy. The creatures, the angels, everything that's going to be happening during that time. And it's scary at the same time. But there's also a lot of hope in there as well for those who are believers. So this movie, like I said, picks up 6 months after that. And you see the world still in chaos. We made it very modern, by the way. They did a total rewrite on it because they want to bring it into today's world. So they talk about the pandemic without naming it. They talk about the rioting and the anger and the hatred out there, which we've been seeing like crazy the last 3 years. My wife Sam joked about. She goes, maybe the rapture happened already with what's going on the earth, and we got left behind ourselves for some reason. So, but it's I hope this movie motivates people to really have a good conversation about the possibility of that happening. And I don't want this to be a movie that the choir supports. I don't want to preach to the choir. I want the choir to do it, but I want people to sit there and, hey, take your friends to the movie as well, because it's tough to get non-believers to go to church. They go, no, there's church people there. I don't want to go to church. But if you take them to the movie, that's a whole different thing. So I hope people will support this. And right now, we're getting a strong surge of people are buying tickets before the movie comes out.
Let's take a quick pause. When we come back, more with Kevin Sorbo about Left Behind, Rise of the Antichrist.